Hello friends, with reference to our previous discussion on gross anatomy of Netra Patal, today we will continue with clinical importance and prognostic interpretations. First of all, to understand Netra Patal, we should have basic idea about the relative position of patal in sequential manner means position of particular patal in relation to others. As we know that in all there are 6 patal, out of which only 4 are responsible in formation of eyeball, that is Chatwari Anyani Cha Akshini. This point is very important to know as we can understand about how doshas travel from one patal to another. As we have discussed in the previous lecture about patala anupravishtasya, which means prakupit dosh used to travel from outer patal to inner patal. Next, we have to know about the composition of particular patal according to dosh, dhatu, mahabhut along with properties of the patal. Lastly, different clinical condition arises due to involvement of particular patal is also very important to assess. Let us understand Pratham Patal. So Pratham Patal is called Bahya Patal or outer patal. So you can see here the outermost patal is Bahya Patal, consists of cornea, this is cornea and this is sclera. The posterior 1/5 is sclera and the anterior 1/6 is cornea. It is also called fibrous coat. By the word Bahya, it is evident that other 3 petals are relatively inner to the former. In semivitiation of Bahya Patal follows the second and so on. Regarding composition of Pratham Patal, it is made by Tej and Jal according to Acharya Sushruta, Rakt as per Acharya Dalhan, and gets its origin from Kaf and Rakt Vahasrotas according to Acharya Walkhat. It is important to understand here the concept of drishti. The term drishti is used in mainly 2 references in Shalakya Tantra. At some point, it is referred as structural or anatomical entity, while at other point, it is used as functional or physiological entity. Sometimes the term drishti is used for eyeball or central part of the cornea or pupil, and in some reference it is also used for vision and visual pathway. Here, for understanding of the Pratham Patal, there is a description of Drishti Mandal in Drishtigat Rog. So here, by means of Drishti Patal, we can understand that this is the pupil. So according to Acharya Sushruta, Drishti Mandal is covered by Bahya Patal or Tejo Jalashrit Patal, that is Avritam Patalen Akshano Bahyen Vivir Akritam. Vivir means it's a hollow structure. So here Drishti is specifically used for pupil. In Nabandh Sangrah, which is a Dalhan commentary on Sushruta Samhita, he clarified that although Drishti is covered by Bahya Patal, still Tej Pramanu or light rays can pass through Bahya Patal, which ultimately responsible for perception of object, that is Roop Grahan. So this explanation gives an idea that our great sages have clear-cut concept about transparency of outer coat, that is fibrous coat or Bahya Patal, which allow light rays to pass. In Drishtigat Rog Adhyay, there is a description of symptom arises due to involvement of particular patal. For the first patal, you can see here that only one symptom, which is Avyaktani Sarupani Sarvani Ye Prapashyati, that is blurring of vision, is described as far as Pratham Patalgat Timir Lakshan is concerned. When we go through the literature of refractive errors, there are three main causes of refractive errors. The one is axial length of the eye, that is anteroposterior diameter of the eye. The second is curvature of the cornea or the bending of the cornea, and the third one is refractive index of different structure. It may be corneal refractive index or lenticular refractive index. So growth or length of sclera is responsible for anteroposterior diameter or axial length of the eye, while the curved surface of cornea contribute towards curvature of the eye. These are the main structure responsible to decide the length of the eye as well as curvature of the eye. So fibrous coat is mainly responsible for axial length as well as curvature of eye. As you know that 1 mm increase or decrease in axial length result into 3 diopter of refractive error, while 1 mm decrease or increase in corneal curvature result into 6 diopter of refractive error. So main feature in the initial stage of refractive error, as you all know, that is blurring of vision. The main feature arises when a person who is wearing glasses, if he or she remove the glasses, the symptom arise is blurring of vision, which is written as Avyaktani Sarupani Sarvani me Prapashyati. So now we will discuss second or Dvitiya Patal. The position of the Dvitiya Patal is situated inner to the Bahya Patal. It is also called Masashrit Patal, which is having Kandra-like properties, that is contraction and relaxation. Tunic or layer which is inner to the fibrous coat and having these properties is vascular coat. As you can see, the red layer in this slide, in this image, is of vascular coat or uveal coat. It consists of iris. So this is iris, this is ciliary body, and the posterior part is choroid. So iris is the anterior most part of uveal tract. As you can see, this is the anterior most part of the uveal tract. It contains two muscles, sphincter pupillae and dilator pupillae. So I have drawn an image of iris. This is the central part or pupillary margin. It is sphincter pupillary muscle, and the radially arranged fibers is of dilator pupillae. So sphincter pupillae is a 1 mm broad circular band in pupillary part of iris supplied by parasympathetic fiber through third nerve which constrict the pupil, while dilator pupillae muscle arranged radially and responsible for dilatation of the pupil. As we know that ciliary body, so this is ciliary body from here to this part, this is ciliary body, comprises ciliary muscle and processes. These are processes and muscles. Ciliary muscle consists of smooth muscle arranged in three orientation: longitudinal, circular and radial. Main action of all parts of ciliary muscle is to loosen suspensory ligament of the lens and thus helps in accommodation. So when these muscles contract, there is loosening of these are the suspensory ligaments or the zonules of the lens. So they loosen up by the contraction of the ciliary muscles and ultimately result into more power of the lens, and the process is called accommodation. So clinical picture arises due to vitiation of dosh in Dvitiya Patal is Drishti Bhisham Vibalati Dvitiyam Patalam Gate, means there is more blurring of vision when doshas reaches to the Masashrit Patal. The second symptom is Mashikan, Mashkan, Keshan, Jalan, Cha Pashyati. These all symptom arises due to involvement of uveal coat, there are number of exogenous as well as endogenous factors which leads to inflammation of vascular coat, and each episode of which result into more diminution of vision as well as floaters like symptom. So when the dosh reaches to the second petal, there is more blurring of vision and the floaters in the eye, which are the floating particles or the patient can see in the form of makshika, mashakan, keshan, jala. Inflammation results from the chorioretinitis can cause inflammatory vitreous opacities, which again can cause floaters in the visual field. Retina, especially the macular area, depends on the choriocapillaries for its nutrition, and when choroid is involved, retina as well as macular area is affected, resulting into relative or absolute scotomas, which depends on the severity of pathological changes in the choroid, and here it is represented by drishti gochar vibhrama. So all this result into micropsia, metamorphosia, diplopia, and it arises due to the involvement of the macular area. So here is the description of durest अन्यापि रूपाणि मन्यते च समीपतः समीपस्थानि दूरे च दृष्टिगोचर विभ्रमात्. दृष्टिगोचर विभ्रमात् we have already discussed, so we will discuss on these points. So all these points from here to this part refers to accommodative anomalies. So we have already discussed about the accommodation, how the lens can change its refractive power. So all these symptoms, दूर की चीजें पास देखेगा, पास की चीजें दूर देखेगा, arises due to either due to the inefficiency of accommodation, spasm of accommodation, or paralysis of accommodation. So when the ciliary muscle get involved, it may give rise to these type of symptoms. And the last one is Suchi Pasham na Pashyati. This symptom or this part is specifically for the Dvitiya Patal, and through this symptom we can be assured that this is nothing but the presbyopia. So what is presbyopia? So presbyopia is defined as condition of physiological insufficiency of accommodation leading to a progressive fall in near vision. So after the age of 35 or 40 years, there is a continuation or continuous fall in near vision. The condition is termed as presbyopia. So friends, by consideration of morphological, physiological, and pathological characters of second petal, we can have this conclusion that the Dvitiya petal or the symptoms is related to the uveal tract and retina. So with this, we come at the end of today's class. we will discuss third and fourth petal in the upcoming lecture. Till then, goodbye and thank you.